Welcome to the Daily Views on September 8th in 2021. And let's get started in London in the UK. According to the British epidemiologist Neil Ferguson from Imperial College in London, Germany got through the corona pandemic much better than Great Britain. For example, excess mortality. The above average number of deaths during the pandemic was 80% higher in the United Kingdom than in Germany. That's an interesting comparison of where that comes from, Ferguson said at an online event organized by the London think tank Chatham House on Monday. He himself suspects a number of factors behind this. According to the researcher, there has been more successful collaboration between scientists and politicians in Germany. On the other hand, it had to do with Germany's ability to expand the number of corona tests very quickly and very strongly. He said, and he means the German authorities, had a better picture of what was going on. The relatively early decision for the first lockdown also saved a large number of lives in Germany. Last but not least, the decentralized system of decision makers in the Federal Republic was better suited to suppress the spread of the virus. Thank you for the flowers. Then let's go to Seoul in South Korea. According to the South Korean General Staff, North Korea may be preparing a new military parade. Together with the USA, South Korea is currently observing preparations in North Korea for large events such as a military parade in connection with its internal appointments, said a spokesman for the General Staff, according to the national news agency Yonhap on Tuesday. South Korean broadcasters reported, citing several sources, that North Korea could hold an army show on Thursday at the earliest, on the day the state was founded. But it is also possible that the parade on the founding day of the ruling Labour Party will take place on October 10th. Pyongyang often uses important holidays or memorial days to show military strength. The self-declared nuclear power last held a military parade under a night sky in January, and before that in October 2020, and demonstrated ballistic missiles with different ranges. Ballistic missiles can also carry nuclear warheads depending on their design. The country is subject to international sanctions because of its nuclear weapons program. At the beginning of September, the North Korean news site 38 North from the Stimson Center in the USA reported on possible preparations for a military parade. According to this, troop formations were observed on satellite images on the Mirim training area for parades in Pyongyang. Negotiations on the North Korean nuclear program have not made any progress since the failed summit meeting between ruler Kim Jong-un and former US President Donald Trump in Vietnam in February 2019. At a party congress earlier this year, Kim announced that his country would strengthen nuclear deterrence with new weapons, including new ICBMs. And now let's go to Geneva in Switzerland. The United Nations fear that refugee children will attend secondary schools even less because of the consequences of the corona pandemic. According to the UN refugee agency UNHCR, the school enrollment rate of refugees in secondary schools in 2019-2020 was only 34% in 40 countries. The recent advances in the schooling of refugee children and adolescents are now threatened, said UNHCR Chief Filippo Grandi on Tuesday when presenting a global school report. The UNHCR urges states to ensure the right of refugees to access secondary education. Countries hosting large numbers of displaced people needed capacity building support, including more schools, appropriate learning materials, and teacher training in specific subjects, it said. According to the information, 68% of the refugees attended primary school. Every 20th refugee has chosen a higher education, according to the UN. That is a plus compared to the previous year, but the desired goal is difficult to achieve. According to UNHCR, 15% should receive an education that leads to studies by 2030. And we have to get back to London one more time. After an 18-month break due to the corona pandemic, the prices on the London Metal Exchange were negotiated on the trading floor for the first time on Monday. The move is considered a sign of a return to normal. However, corona rules continue to apply in the 144-year-old premises for an indefinite period. This significantly reduces trading time on the trading floor. The ventilation has also been improved. Dealers are encouraged to adhere to distance rules and wear masks. The closing prices will continue to be determined electronically. It was the first time since World War II that the London Metal Exchange, which trades metals such as aluminum and copper, closed its trading floor. It's the only British exchange where traders personally negotiate prices on the spot. The leading London Stock Exchange closed its trading floor in 1986. And now let's go to Beijing in China. Chinese foreign trade developed significantly better than expected in August. Exports in US dollars increased by 25.6% compared to the same period last year, as the customs authorities reported on Tuesday. Imports even grew by 33.1%. Experts had expected a slowdown in growth. Overall, there was an increase of 28.8%. The unexpectedly strong trading figures generated optimism. Obviously, higher transportation costs and delays in ports that disrupted global supply chain did not affect foreign trade as much as expected. Experts had also pointed out that the second largest economy had lost some of its steam with a more dangerous Delta variant due to the largest coronavirus outbreak in a year. In August, the authorities got the spread under control within around 4 weeks. The closure of a terminal in the important container port of Ningbo was also lifted due to a few cases of infection. And now let's go to Brussels in Belgium. NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has expressed concern about the construction of new missile silos by China. The country could significantly increase its nuclear capabilities as a result, said the Norwegian on Monday at an alliance conference on arms control issues organized in Copenhagen. China is rapidly adding more warheads and a large number of sophisticated delivery systems to its nuclear weapon stocks. All of this is happening without restriction and completely in a non-transparent manner. As a global power, China has global responsibility for arms control, added Stoltenberg to the address of the Chinese government, which has so far largely refused to hold talks on the subject. Beijing would also benefit from mutual limitations, more transparency, and predictability. The Association of American Scientists, the FAS, reported on new construction work at the end of July. With the help of satellite images near Hami in the northwest region of Xinjiang, their experts discovered a large area with silos for nuclear missiles under construction. Just a few weeks earlier, a similar new site with missile silos under construction had been found near Yumen in Gansu province. The FAS experts estimate in July that there could be a total of more than 200 new missile silos. That would be more than Russia and half as much as the US would have in operation for its ICBMs. According to FAS estimates, China has around 350 nuclear warheads, while the USA and Russia each have 4,000. According to experts behind the expansion, there could be various motives of the leadership of state and party leader Xi Jinping, who is also chairman of the military commission and thus commander-in-chief. It could be a reaction to the modernization of the nuclear forces in the US, Russia, and India, among other things. China could also worry that its previous silos are easily vulnerable. And now let's go to Rome in Italy. The 20 most important industrialized and emerging countries want to spend more money on the joint work of various health areas on crisis prevention. We want to invest in the One Health approach, tweeted Italy's Minister of Health Roberto Speranza in Rome on Monday. There, the second and last day of the meeting of the G20 health ministers began, with focuses on the corona pandemic. The One Health approach is based on considering human and veterinary medicine as well as the environment as a common system when it comes to reacting to a future health emergency. The German Federal Minister of Health Jens Spahn called for changes to the World Health Organization, the WHO, on Sunday. The One Health approach is also about better researching infectious diseases that can be mutually transmitted to animals and humans. This is also an area that we want to see strengthened at the World Health Organization, said the CDU politician on the sidelines of the G20 meeting. The United Nations Agriculture and Food Organization, the FAO, also called for more commitment to this strategy. Italy currently holds the G20 presidency, and at the conference, Speranza wants to reach a so-called Pact of Rome, which, among other things, provides for the fairer distribution of vaccines. The G20 ministers want to plan further steps in the pandemic, analyze what effects corona had on the achievement on the 17 sustainability goals of the United Nations, and how one can prevent such health crises in the future or better prepare for them. A joint statement was expected at the end of the meeting. And now let's go to Plymouth in the UK. Hundreds of people have said goodbye to 2 victims of the rampage in the southern English port city of Plymouth. Family and friends gathered in a church Monday for the funeral of a 3-year-old girl and her 43-year-old father. They were shot dead on the evening of August 12th when they were walking their dog. In front of the building, numerous people watched as a single white coffin was carried into the church and later brought out again. A 22-year-old man had killed a total of 5 people in Plymouth, including his mother. A woman and a man were also seriously injured. Then the perpetrator shot himself. Jake D was apparently close to the misogynistic incel scene. The abbreviation comes from the English term involuntary celibate and primarily describes men who involuntarily abstain and develop hatred of women and sexually active men. It was the incident with the highest number of gunshot victims in the UK for more than a decade. Since then, 3 different investigations have been initiated. Among other things, it's determined why the police gave Jake D a weapon and the necessary license back a few weeks after the crime. And sorry to end this video with bad news and my sincere condolences to the families of the victims, but it is part of our life, and so I will include this in my videos. But I hope I'll see you with some more fun stories, for example tonight at my daily tea, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bis gleich.